All right, this is Heather Longoria, and I am the host of IAmA New Therapist weblog. And today I am talking to Qiana Thompson, who I was introduced to through the Movement Maestro. And Qiana really struck my interest because she is a coach for new therapists. And when I graduated in February, I was looking for a coach, and I couldn't find anybody who was offering the kinds of services that I needed. And then, Qiana, when you did the interview with the Movement Maestro, like everything you were saying was like, yes, that's what I need. That's what I need. So could you give us a little bit of background of how you became a massage therapist and then how you became a coach for massage therapists?
Yeah, sure. So I actually became a massage therapist because I was going to school to become a physical therapist. And in that journey, I sat down with my guidance counselor to start mapping out what courses I needed to take. And because I was going to school part-time, we mapped it out to be about 10 years. And so I said, no, let me think about this. And that's when I decided to kind of go into a trade and get into massage because I thought that would get me closest to physical therapy and help me determine then if that's something I still want to do. So I did that. I went to massage school and eventually I made my way working at a boutique gym that had a physical therapy department in it and started working with their clients. So that's why from the very beginning, I've always been interested in more of like the clinical side of massage therapy. And it was during that time that I realized I didn't want to become a physical therapist. I felt like a lot of my clients were getting a lot of relief. They were giving a lot of great feedback about massage. I kind of felt that with physical therapy, at least the department that I was witnessing was kind of restricted in who they can work with because they were insurance based. And so if you didn't have their insurance or that you weren't in network with them, you couldn't see them. And so I decided to stick with massage therapy. I love the autonomy of it. It was a very different time. You know, I went to massage therapy school. I graduated in 2001. And so at the time, you know, technology, access to information, all of that was very different. So I pretty much just stumbled my way through trying to figure out what massage therapy and the quote unquote massage therapy career meant for me, given what was in my immediate environment, what I saw, what I heard you can do, things I thought you could do. And it wasn't until about 2011 when I moved back to San Francisco and I was looking for another massage therapy job, and I just couldn't find something that I felt was more in line with what I wanted to do. Over the years, I got a little bit more specific in the type of work I like to do. And I couldn't find a position that didn't involve like spa work or, you know, having to learn hot stones and things like that. And anything that was clinical was like with chiropractic. And I just kind of felt like they were positioning massage therapists to kind of be like the warm up to what they did. And physical therapy, I found is very different in different areas, especially state to state. And here in California, there aren't a lot of assistants, and they usually don't incorporate a lot of massage because it's something that they can build for themselves. And so they do. And so that's when I decided to go into private practice. And I'm like, why don't I just create what it is I want to do and just do what you won't believe. Like that was like the biggest epiphany to me. And so that's what I did. And I started my practice. And like most massage therapists, like your first goal is to, you know, start getting clients, start being busy, start getting booked. And once I was doing my practice full time, a couple of years later, I was at a place where I was like, now what? And out of nowhere, it really felt like out of nowhere, I started getting inquiries from massage therapy students wanting to do their internships with me. There's local massage schools here where it's part of their curriculum that the students do massage externship, they call it, or an internship. Cool. And so I had a student start contacting me, and I was like, well, I didn't know you could do that. When I went to massage school, they just assigned us somewhere. And they're like, no, we can choose our own now. And, you know, I chose you because you're the only one that does this kind of work in the area. And I was like, I am? And so I Googled it and I was like, I am. Wow. And that's when I realized I had been so focused on my business and so in my lane and just kind of head down, grinding, hustling, doing what I thought I was supposed to do, right? Which is work harder. And when you work harder, get to work harder again. And it was just this cycle that was leading me towards, like, well, now what? And so when I started having these students reach out to me, and I realized I was in a very different position than the last time I had paid attention to where I was at, that's when I realized, I'm like, you know what? I've hit these goals. I am booked. I have a full clientele list, and it had me thinking, like, now what?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know a lot of massage therapists who had gotten to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I didn't really know what was supposed to happen after that. And working with the students is what kind of reawakened my passion for wanting to help people. And I realized it's, you get to a place of growth where it's not so much working one-on-one with these clients, but helping people in a sense of not just working, as the therapist with the client, but working with the student, working to elevate the profession, working to, help other therapists get to where I was, because I didn't even realize where I was. And when I looked up, I realized I was by myself.
Uh-huh.
And so when I started going to these massage schools and reaching out to these students and doing talks and networking with them and getting to know them, I realized a lot of the hardships and obstacles that I faced when I had graduated were still very much the same thing. When I walked in and they found out, I run my own practice, and this is how I finance my life. I do everything, as a solopreneur, pay my rent, pay my bills, my vacations, my health insurance, everything was all on me. They looked at me like I was a unicorn.
Right.
And to me, I was like, okay, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. And also, once I started getting booked, I realized, it got to a point where I was so booked that if a client had to cancel, they got sick, we couldn't get them back in for a while. And it was a significant amount of time to where, people were, and it's great. I mean, to be the reason why people call off work, but it was also got to a point where I'm like, I can't be the only one.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to help other massage therapists who wanted to do this kind of work understand what it was that I do, which is specializing in sports and orthopedic massage at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And helping them get to where I was. So helping them, work on clients. I was trying to be everything I wish I had when I was a student. So, just having somebody to ask questions about. It's like, so I have a client who can't raise his arm this way, and I don't know what it means, or didn't know how to talk to them about what they understood it to be. Felt very inefficient with what they felt they learned, and didn't feel comfortable with speaking to the client about what they found. Didn't feel like they knew enough. There was always this lack of enoughness
Right.
that circled around. And then talking to these students, realizing that, again, a lot of the same things that plagued me as a new therapist student was still the case. Longevity in our profession is 3 to 5 years, which is very short. I felt it got worse. So when I graduated, I was in classes of, 40 people plus, and I'm looking at classes that had 8 people in it.
Wow.
I'm meeting therapists where they're the only one in their class that is still a massage therapist. I was meeting a whole bunch of therapists that didn't complete the program, completed the program, never entered into the workforce, entered the workforce, quickly left because they couldn't pay their bills, or they were somehow misled into what the career would look like. So I always talk about the massage therapy profession being on a spectrum of trades, right? And so there's a technical side and there's a creative side. And the technical side, you learn how to do a job, like say you're a dental assistant, like this is what your job is. This is how you assist the dentist. This is how you clean this or whatever. There's a very strict procedures. On the creative side, there's a framework. This is the creative side would be like your hairdressers, tattoo artists, massage therapists, personal trainers. And there's a autonomy to it that allows for a lot of freedom and creativity to come through. So there's this framework of how to do the job, but how they actually execute it is their own style. There's their own way, their own creativity starts coming into play. And when you're on that end of the spectrum, it's no longer just this job. You're no longer entering this, I have an hourly rate. I have these benefits. This is what I can expect to work part-time or full-time. This is what I'm expected to make. And even though there's some of that in the massage profession, specifically with franchises and spas,
Yeah.
if your passion in massage therapy or your niche that you're choosing doesn't fall in line with that, you're kind of just, asked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so on that creative side leads to you needing to be a little bit more accepting of the fact that you're going to have to be more entrepreneurial. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to tap into the branding, the personal branding of yourself, because no matter where you're working, people are coming to see you.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what umbrella of a brand you're under, you're being judged on your own individual skill sets. And so understanding that personal branding, understanding the responsibility of what it's going to take to be successful, because you are going to have to incorporate a lot of business mindsets and
Yeah.
techniques and all that kind of stuff into what it is that you do, whether you're working for someone else as an employee or whether you're working for yourself. Regardless, you're going to have to do these things. And so that's what kind of led me into the coaching. Was I just naturally was able to kind of tap into what the needs were and be able to kind of create or offer people a pathway to get clarity onto what it is that they want to do in a way, like I said, I wish I had.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, gosh, I wish it, but that's part of it, right? We all kind of have to go through the mud. We all kind of have to experience things that we don't want to get very clear on what it is that we do want sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what led me to the coaching. And that was, the step before that was the student mentorship. I just fell in love with helping them and learning about myself and really being forced to backpedal and to ask myself questions I didn't ask because I was so busy and just being in the mud,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't ask, like, well, what does make me different? And how am I able to get results? And how did I know this? And start to kind of, backpedal and think back about how I got to that. Because a lot of it is, of course, years and thousands of hours into the profession, but understanding how I started to put things together before, trigger point therapy was a big thing, before myofascial was a big, hashtag word that people like, how did I understand this? How did I start putting it together? And, how did I start to be confident in consistently delivering results? And that's at least in the area or the niche that I'm working in, which is sports orthopedic myofascial work.
Mm-hmm.
That's where some of the students I was mentoring were starting to have hardships, is that they didn't think that they knew enough to say what it is I was saying to the client. And that was just because they didn't know how to formulate the understanding. They didn't know how to digest what they did learn and be able to regurgitate it back so that it makes sense. And so just like anything else, right? Like as you're teaching, you learn a lot more.
Yeah.
So for these therapists, I'm like, as you're educating your client, you're putting it all together in your head too. Like, oh yeah, so yeah, this left shoulder, it makes sense that your right low back hurts because of these spiral lines. Maybe you just learned, about the fascia and things
Uh-huh.
like that. So now you can start to piece it together for your client and then see things kind of go off for them. And that's what's going to kind of help generate that. So I just, I got off on that. I loved helping them.
Uh-huh.
And it was just a whole new evolution. Like, you hit the ceiling and then you grow into something new and you look around and you play around, and then next thing you know, you're mastering something else, and then you're on to another level. And so I think that's just life. And so I think it's just a natural progression once you start, nailing your goals as a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
So,
my long-winded answer to your very simple question.
oh, that was great. And it is so eye-opening to see like how many different career trajectories you can have as a massage therapist, because like you said, you do see so many people that just like tap out pretty early on in the profession because whether they can't make a living at it or their bodies don't hold up to it. So what has been a key for you? And because you've been doing this for what, 18 years now, right? And
Yeah.
and and how much are you still treating versus coaching?
So I'm actually making some changes for 2020, right? Because that's
Uh-huh.
your vision.
Right.
That's in now, 2020. And so I'm actually creating more space to do more coaching. I've been kind of limited because, well, there's only 7 days in the week, and I need one for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I was, about 2 years ago, I was working about 5 days a week. And then when I started hiring on therapists as employees, I cut that down to 4. Um, and then I'll be going into 3 days a week in the new year. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm kind of working towards exiting myself as a therapist so I can start to work on growing and implementing the vision that I have as a company.
Okay.
Um, and so that would allow me to start coaching at least 2 days a week. Instead of squeezing in one. And so I haven't been able to see as many coaching clients as I've liked in the past just because of my limitations in my calendar. So I'm making room for that. I'm definitely making room for that.
I see. Um, let's see. So for the coaching that you do you do hands-on coaching too, or is it all like the mindset kind of work and the planning and the strategy, or do you like work with people one-on-one and like kind of guide them through how to improve their hands-on skills?
Yeah, I mean, I have done that. I've done that mainly with like the students that I've worked with. I haven't had
Mhm.
any coaching clients that have been like in my immediate area to where we can meet up and we can do some things like that. And then a lot of times, even if people were close enough to do that, it's hard to align these schedules, people. My gosh, right? We all have 7 Google calendars. I got so many Google calendars.
Uh-huh.
There's so many colors. There's so many colors. And so it's harder to do one-on-one because the coordinating of calendars and then just kind of syncing up everything like that. But I have done that.
Mhm.
And um, a lot of the times, if you're already an experienced therapist, I find that it's not necessarily needed because as you start to take continuing education courses, you're getting that
Mm.
in those courses because you have the general understanding of touch when it comes to massage therapy, and then maybe you're learning something specific, whether that's trigger point work, whether that's cranial sacral. So you're getting the hands-on
Mhm.
in those courses. So
Mhm.
most of the coaching that I do is going to be distant. It's going to be like what we're doing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so since you've been coaching some new therapists, what do you see as typically like the things that new graduates overlook or that they should be thinking about and they just don't know enough at this point in their careers to be thinking about?
Yeah.
Like what
Um,
advice would you have for new therapists really?
Well, I mean, the thing about new therapists is that when I went to school and when I went back to the schools to talk to new students, it was pretty much the same thing from when I was in school, which is I felt like there was like 2 different kinds of therapists. There were therapists who were coming in and they're young and this is like their first go at like real world career. And then there
Mhm.
was these like um, second chancers, right? They're like,
Yeah.
this is my second
Yeah.
career. I got burnt out at the first one or something like that. And so in both, and I think in life, it's always good to be able to play around in your imagination and start daydreaming of what you would like to happen,
Hmm.
what you would like your career to look like. We need some sort of big picture goal to start reverse engineering from.
Mhm.
And I say daydream and I say use your imagination because when you do that, you're not placing a lot of limitations on yourself. You're not thinking, how is this going to work? You're
Right.
dreaming of what it is you would like it to be. There's a
Mhm.
big difference there. And so I don't think we as adults in general, whether this you're 18 like I was, 19 like I was getting into massage therapy school, or you're 50, 60, 70 getting into massage therapy school, a lot of times we overlook the importance of asking ourselves what it is that we want.
Mhm.
And so I think for everybody as adults, we should start asking ourselves that more often, and we should start indulging ourselves and playing more in our imaginations of what it could be, and allowing our imaginations, allowing our thoughts to go there beyond our limiting beliefs. And you'll be
Mhm.
surprised of what you find. So I think we definitely need to start thinking and asking ourselves what it is that we want, what we want our career to look like, how we want to go about helping people, because everything we do in this world is helping people. It's just a matter of like how
Yeah.
do you want to help people? How can you help people that still makes you excited and feel young and gives you energy?
Mhm.
The other thing is especially when you're getting out, you're new, you got to get your hands dirty. You can't just automatically just be experienced
Yeah.
without putting your hands on a few hundred people. That's just
Mhm.
what it is. There's a lot of things that you're going to learn that even when I'm working hands-on, one-on-one with these massage interns that I've had, there's a lot of things where I'm like, I'm not going to be able to teach you. This is not something I can verbally explain to you. You're going to have to feel it for yourself.
Yeah.
And even if I'm standing right next to you, maybe I'm not using the right verbiage to describe it how you would. And so you might not interpret it that way. I might say something like, this feels like corduroy. And maybe they're young and they're like, what's corduroy? I don't know. Right? Or sometimes I'll tell people like, yeah, this feels a little stiff. They're like, tight. And I was like, is that how you would I don't know. How would you describe this? And so you kind of have to, figure things. There's some things about touch you're going to have to figure out on your own, because it is something that you're going to have to process and you're going to have to make sense of in your own unique way. So you have to get out. You have to see more people. And when you're new, you got to be humble. There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to do for free. And I don't mean, let's just clear this up. I don't mean, doing events and chair massage for free. I mean, seeing your mom as a client on a regular basis, challenging yourself and working on your uncle who's an amputee, or a cousin who has cancer, or someone who just, broke their arm. People with different things, you want different looks. If you're somebody who does truly enjoy the relaxation side, the spa side of things, then it's getting creative on whether you like using sugar scrub, salt scrub, coffee scrub. Do you like hot stone? Do you like sound therapy? These types of things. You got to figure out like what it is that you like and start, practicing, start playing with it, start seeing what works, what doesn't work, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you would change. And it's important to see people's reactions and get their feedback. And so if it's more comfortable for you to work on people that you know, then do that. And if it's more comfortable for you to work on people that you don't know, then ask the people you do know to refer somebody to you. Right? So yeah, just get in there and do the thing. Do the thing, people.
Right. Put in the time.
Put in the work. There's no way. I've learned the hard way. There's no way around the work.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere that it takes like 10,000 hours to become an expert on anything. So yeah.
I've lost count and I don't doubt it. Let's put it that way.
Well, and what do you think really makes somebody stand out as a really great therapist? Like both from a new therapist coming out of school, what can they do to really distinguish themselves? And then like as somebody continues in their career, what are the really important things to get you good results and busy?
When you're new, one of the things is there's no getting around the fact that this is still a craft, and you need to study and work your craft. You need to be excellent at what you do. You want to stand out. That means you're not average. So you can't just be an average therapist who does average work.
Yeah.
And you also have to be comfortable with being your authentic self. A lot of your clients, a lot of the people that you come in contact with, this is a obviously service-oriented profession. They are going to start coming to you because of you. Because they like you. They vibe with you. And you're going to be an excellent therapist to them because you vibe with them. Yeah. And so you just got to be yourself, but you're not going to know who you are at first.
Yeah.
You're not going to know who you are. You're not going to know what type of therapist you are. And that goes back to like, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to get in and do the work. When I first started my private practice, 2001, this is a whole, my gosh, no, not 2001, 2011. This is a whole 10 years later. And I thought I was going to be working specifically with athletes. And my whole goal was to work with professional athletes. And I did. And once I got into that arena, I realized if they're not professional, they don't have the money for this service. And if they are professional, I'm part of their camp, which means it's, it lasts for only a certain duration, or I'm part of the season. So it's not around the clock thing. And sometimes through working with other people, what your specialty is, what your niche is, who your demographic is, starts to reveal itself to you. So sometimes you might set out thinking you want to work with this group, and then when you actually work with them, you're like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And that's okay. It's okay to change your mind, but you won't know until you're in it. You just won't know until you're in it. So you got to get in it. And so, it's going to be easier for you to just be yourself. That helps solidify this abundance mentality. There's enough for everybody. Like, everybody is not for me, and I am not for everybody. And I proudly say that because I've worked long enough to feel very confident in saying, I refuse to work with certain kinds of people and I'll be okay. I'll still make my money. I'll still make rent. And there's a very tactful and professional way to do that, where you can connect them with someone who you think would be better suited. You can connect them with the practitioner or a certain type of therapy you think they would benefit from. So you're helping them, and you're helping this, connect them with another practitioner or clinician, and all is well in the world. And you're still, being your happy, jolly self, or whoever it is that you are. But you want to be able to shine as your authentic self, because that light is what's going to attract the type of people you're supposed to be working with, the people that you truly vibe with. You're sending out these waves. I know I'm getting a little woo-woo, but hey, you're sending out these vibes, and that's what you're trying to receive in return. And so the more you can be yourself, the more you're okay with understanding that, you're not going to be you're not supposed to be for everybody. The better it is for everybody.
Yeah. It makes it a lot more less intimidating too, to get into the profession, I think too, because it's exhausting to try to be somebody that you're not naturally.
Oh my God. I mean, we've all had that client where it's like, what, let's just get up, and too much. Too much for me. And then I've had people send clients to me, and instead of just informing me that they're sending me the client, they're calling me to apologize that they're sending me this client.
Oh yeah.
But then me and this client vibe out like no problem, And I'm like, you guys, whatever, we vibe. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And it's like, I've had that happen a few times in the year that I've been practicing, and it's like magic when that. Yeah.
And that's the goal. Like, when I work with people, I'm like, your whole schedule should look like that, because my whole schedule looks like that. I don't want you to look at your calendar and be like, this person, da-da-da. I'm like, yes, I can't wait to see so-and-so and catch up on whatever, or, follow up on this. And like, I'm looking for, like, they give me energy. And so when people ask me, like, how do you work so long and see so many people? I was like, I'm truly energized. Yeah.
Hyped up. Okay. Well, and I wanted to keep this to about half an hour. So, two things. If you have any more parting, like, last words of wisdom for new therapists, and then also if people want to work with you, how can they do that?
Okay. So any last minute things is, especially for my massage therapists out there, please don't brush off your ergonomics. Okay. That has saved me. I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't have any issues with shoulder pain, burnout, forearms, wrists, thumbs, none of that. And so, work on your ergonomics. Know that these are your tools for the trade. Without the tools, you won't be able to do the job. So it's not worth it. And, continue to learn, get the chip off your shoulder. You don't know everything. That's okay. Continue to work at your craft. Continue to take continuing ed courses that interest you and that also align with your big vision goals. That's important. Aside from knowing what your big vision goal is, take things that interest you, take things that excite you, learn things outside of massage, take things that aren't specifically designed or marketed towards massage therapists. Find out what these physical therapists, chiropractors, trainers, what kind of courses they're taking, and take it. And that's what's going to help you have a much more well-rounded idea of what holistic healthcare could mean to you. And how to get a hold of me. I am on the gram, my company, Body Realm Center, just at Body Realm Center. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on the World Wide Web. And so you can find me on bodyrealmcenter.com. Feel free to email me through either one of those platforms. You can email me directly at Qiana@bodyrealmcenter.com. And let me know if there's anything I can help you out with. You have some questions, you want to chat, I'm always down. I can talk about this stuff forever, obviously. I got Heather, pushing me off like, listen, we got to keep this I can keep going. And if you're interested in coaching, let me know. That's going to open up greatly in 2020, because that's the year of vision. We're going to do it, people.
Yeah.
And so, just shoot me an email. I also have Qiana Thompson coaching at gmail.com for right now, but otherwise any of the platforms you'll be able to reach me. So just reach out.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, Qiana. I think this, for people coming straight out of school, there's so much good information here. And just like for people like me who struggle with confidence, it gives you, it's so encouraging to know that there's a lot of power in just being yourself, and knowing that not everybody is a fit for you, and that it just takes time too. And especially if you go to a school that kind of, like the school I went to is very much like, when you get out of here, you're going to be like a superstar, you know, and then
That's
you
all
start
schools
treating
make
people.
you feel, right?
Yeah, yeah. You get
Yeah.
out and you're like, well, not everybody is like dancing off of my table. So it makes you doubt yourself, but it's like, it just takes time. Time and practice is the key.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It takes time and practice, a little strategy, a little planning, and we got you.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
and support, and like getting feedback from people who've been doing this for a long time, and um, can help you set yourself up for longevity and success in the profession.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's key. We definitely need more people in the profession that's here to stay. There's so
Mhm.
many, it's so heartbreaking to see so many talented therapists have to leave or feel
Mhm.
like they have to leave the profession. And you know, that doesn't benefit anybody. And so if there's anything I can do out there to help take the fog away and help people get some clarity in their vision, see a way out of it, see a way towards the goal, more than happy to help.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk, and I will be talking to you soon.
Yes, you will. All right.
All
Thank
right, thanks,
you.
Qiana. Bye.
Bye.